Is it fucking opposite day? No, seriously, I'm lost. I'm at a loss for words with the kind of shit that I see on the news on a regular basis. And I don't mean a lot of the more recent terror incidents, because I'll tell you what, most people are on the same page in regards to that, alright? You got shitty people blowing shit up, and that's bad. But then we have this shit. This is what I mean when I'm talking about opposite day. You have a liberal, Bernie voting professor at a liberal college who is against racial segregation in his classroom and in every other classroom on the campus. And what happens is he's called a racist, a mob surrounds him, and they demand his resignation. You can't make this shit up. You can't. You can try to make the most insane bullshit, and you always cross over into parody territory or into straight up fiction. You can't make this shit up. So I'll tell you what, we're just gonna do a little play-by-play. We're gonna see how this shit started. So here's an email by Brett Weinstein. To put it simply, there is supposed to be a day of absence, or a day of presence, in which the students may opt to leave the campus based on their race so that they can make some sort of statement on the various virtues that they have, on the state of racism in the country today or whatever. And that's all well and good, but this year there were certain threats that if you were white, you must leave campus. Not you may choose to in order to support a cause, but if you are white, you must leave the campus. So he says that he is against racial segregation. To quote him specifically, on a college campus, one's right to speak or to be must never be based on skin color. And to them, they read this whole letter in which he says, on a college campus, one's right to speak or be must never be based on one's skin color, and they said that this was racist. That he is a racist professor, that he is a white supremacist, that he is teaching white supremacy to his students, and that he must resign, and that he must give up his position. Just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna take a peek. I'm gonna take a peek and look at various definitions. Let's say Wikipedia is a good place. You know, there's a bunch of different dictionaries, but I'm just gonna use Wikipedia, all right? Because lots of people use it for a lot of different things. Just to recap, racism is discrimination and prejudice towards people based on their race or ethnicity. If you look at somebody and you're going to make a decision on what you're going to do, what you're going to say to them, and their race factors into it, you're doing something that could be considered racist. Or you have a racist thought, maybe. Racist ideology can become manifest in many aspects of social life. And we're going to be going over some of these later in the video. Associated social actions may include otherness, segregation, supremacism, and related social phenomena. Okay, so now we have a recap. If you say or do things in which your decisions, your intent is based on somebody's race, you are racist. On a college campus, one's right to speak or be must never be based on skin color, which is a factor for race or ethnicity. So, he's not racist! But you maybe know that. But I'll tell you what, that's not where we're getting here, alright? Because, as we know, it doesn't matter whether or not you are or are not racist in regards to this story, because people surrounded him saying he was a racist. So, it doesn't matter what I think. These protests already happened. We're too late. We can't inform them of this shit. Protests erupt over racism at Evergreen State College, says USA Today. Hundreds of students at Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington have been staging protests over what they view as institutional racism. There was a press release in which the local newspaper stated, what started as anti-black comments on social media has turned into the dismal of rights of students and femmes of color, physical violence by police, and false sentencing of students protesting. Black trans disabled students are actively being sought out and confronted by campus police constantly. Police are refusing to explain their actions and harassment. Students will not stand for this anymore, as students of color have never felt comfortable on campus and have not been treated equal. So that is the statement that they said in response to Brett Weinstein sending an email saying, I will not discriminate based on race and I'm against segregation. Because he was saying this. It's an act of oppression in and of himself if you're treating people differently based on race. So, what happened? Well, here's a few select clips from a video of the confrontation.
Difference between debate and dialectic. Debate, wait a second. No, it is. Debate means you are trying to win. Dialectic means you are using disagreement to discover what is true. I am not interested in debate. I am interested only in dialectic, which does mean I listen to you and you listen to me.
We don't care what terms you want to speak on. This is not about you.
I'm talking about
this is all about him. On terms of white privilege. This is not a discussion. You have lost that one.
I am talking about terms that serve the truth. Those are the terms.
Also dialectic. You said some racist shit. Can you apologize?
I did not. Okay. You don't know.
Fuck what you gotta say!
Public protest. Was that not targeting people of color?
I'm sorry.
Due to an active absence for people of color.
I didn't hear you at the beginning.
Your protest of day of absence, your presence taken as a protest, if you will. That's what you said in your email.
Yes.
But you're saying targeting
for black students.
May I answer that question?
Okay,
wait a second. First of all, day of absence has been here longer than I have. I have never protested it until the idea. Until
you want
no.
Keep your fucking ass here.
No.
First
of all, I didn't say. Would you like to hear the answer or not?
No.
You're useless then. You're not learning anything. No. Chill. Listen.
Stop telling people of color they're fucking useless. You're useless. Get the fuck out.
Stop. Chill.
Fuck you.
Please.
Piece of shit.
Listen.
Somebody kick this.
Do you understand? Could pivot in the direction of the values that you are standing here for.
Yeah, resign.
What?
Resign.
I'm not resigning.
Okay.
If I owe an apology, I will deliver it.
Wait, hey. Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go.
You also need to apologize tonight.
We were listening to each other. Now we're not.
You want to get married?
Yeah, you're not listening to us. I am listening. No, you're not. How can I not be listening to
You
you?
do not control this conversation.
I'm not trying to control.
Yes, you are. Yes, he is. You're acting on white supremacy. You're supporting white.
Got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Brett Weinstein's hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey hey! Ho ho! Brett Weinstein's got to go. Hey ho ho! Because they're going to most likely have troll cars right by the con building.
Do we know that? Could you run over there?
Yeah, I just know that that's where I usually put. So wait, hold on. Can I get this straight? You were coming over here for Brett Weinstein because you were.
I got information.
You thought
cornered by students.
Oh, okay, but not over here.
Not being cornered.
Okay, maybe you should have gotten better information.
I only get limited information.
Oh, okay. Well, we were in D. It's a very small campus.
The information you're receiving is false, sir!
So to put it simply, he is trying to openly discuss with them, and he's trying to state that he is not being racist and he just wants to talk. And that he's not trying to win a discussion. He's not trying to debate them. He's not trying to silence them. He wants to hear what they have to say and then respond in kind. But that's not what they want. They openly tell him he can't say a word.
We don't care what terms you want to speak on. This is not about you.
I'm
We are
talking
not
this is
speaking
all
on
about
terms,
him.
on terms of white privilege. This is not a discussion. You have lost that one.
I am talking.
So these people, in their upsetness, in their rage, decide to make a stand, so to speak. And the police start to notice this commotion, so they surround the building. Or at least they try and get in an effort to make sure that the professor is safe, but they won't let him inside the building. Here's a clip from a news interview with this professor on Fox News, in which he details his side of the events.
This year, student activists demanded that all white people leave campus or else. Brett Weinstein refused. He's a professor at Evergreen State, and he called the race-based demand, quote, a show of force and an act of oppression. In response to that, here's what happened. Wow. Professor Brett Weinstein joins us now. Professor, first of all, thank you for coming on. That looks like something, out of Phnom Penh, 1975. Was that, what exactly was going on there? What happened?
Well, what happened is that 50 or so students decided to disrupt the class that I was holding that morning and demand my resignation.
Because you wouldn't leave campus because you're white?
Well, they imagine that I am a racist and that I am teaching racism in the classroom, and that has caused them to imagine that I have no right to speak, that I am harming students by the very act of teaching them.
What happened after the video cut out?
Well, that's an interesting story. The campus police apparently showed up outside of the classroom. The protesters then blocked their entrance. I did not call the police, someone else called the police, and they were concerned for my safety. But when they tried to come into the building to make sure that I was okay, the protesters blocked them. And because the issue of policing is so sensitive at the moment, the police had to run around and find another entrance to the building to get inside and check with me. At the point they did that, the protesters moved on and corralled the president of the college at his office. They extracted some demands from him. Among the demands was that there would be a meeting, well, actually, demands is perhaps the wrong word, a concession, that there would be a meeting at 4 o'clock in a large room on top of our library building. So that meeting took place at the end of the day, and believe it or not, it was far crazier than the video that you just showed.
This whole story is so over the top that even though we do a lot of these, it's hard for me to believe it's real. So the core demand is that all people of your skin color leave the campus. Your president is a guy called George Bridges. Where was he?
Bridges.
Why isn't, there he is right there. Why, George Bridges is supposed to be running this school. Why is he allowing a mob to threaten one of his professors?
Well, I must say, I have some concern that the story is so strange that it's not even going to make sense to an audience that isn't local to the campus. Dr. Bridges is allowing this mob to effectively control the campus, and they have been in control since 9:30 on Tuesday morning. At this moment, I believe Dr. Bridges is answering a set of demands put forward by the protesters, and they have said that if he does not accept their demands, that there will be violence. I do not know what his response to those demands is going to be, but I know that that's taking place at this hour. He has also told the police to stand down. So although the campus police have a sense of what it is that needs to happen in a circumstance like this, they have been hobbled by the fact that they answer to the college administration, and in fact for several days have been barricaded in the campus police station.
Oh my gosh, this is like something out of another country. It's just hard to believe any of this is real. And just Our viewers should look this up online because there are a lot of pieces to the story. It's hard to convey on television, but you had this, I thought, powerful line in your letter, and I assume you're no kind of right-winger. If you teach at Evergreen, I'm sure you're, a Hillary voter, but you had this
No,
line.
not a Hillary voter. I'm a deeply progressive person, and I must say
there you go.
I'm troubled by what this implies about the current state of the left.
Well, you think? You said people shouldn't be allowed to speak or not on the basis of their skin color, which seems like a foundational belief of the left, and one that I agree with strongly. And for that, they physically threatened you and are trying to get you fired. This is unbelievable.
They are absolutely trying to get me fired, and they believe that my words in my email are transparently racist. And I think we're caught quite off guard when people who were not at Evergreen read my letter and couldn't find any racism in it.
Well, yeah, just the opposite. Professor, Godspeed to you, and I hope you'll come back with an update on this story because it's really one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
Because I'll tell you what, I don't know about you guys. This guy seems soft-spoken and, at the very most, sincere. If he is a racist, he is doing a horrible job displaying it. I don't think this guy has any bad intentions to him at all. He just wants to teach his class and talk to people and not be racist, and he's just anti-segregation in general. What happens instead is two things. The first is that people start making press releases, and by that, they start calling everyone on Twitter racist, and they start making Facebook posts in which they outright lie about the proceedings. So there was a press release, and by that they mean a Facebook post by a student, Blake Vincent, for the protest that happened on Wednesday, in which he states that the students were not overly threatening or harmful in any way, which is patently false. If you want to look at these clips, tell me if you, being in a classroom or an office, and your entire building was filled with and surrounded by students who said that you would not be able to leave until you met their demands. Does that not sound threatening? Because that is a threat, all right? You can't leave unless you do what we say.
So the priority is that they stay in that room. If they aren't in that room, then we did something wrong. So you'll need to watch that door, watch all the doors, watch the windows. You need to keep eyes on them. And somebody needs to go in that room real quick to make sure that there's no way in that room for them to leave. That's the number one priority until we get our demands here. The second priority is that I don't believe the cops are coming. If they were to come, we need to know that information immediately. We don't need a ton of people on the bottom floor because people can come in and out. Like, this is their life. Like, that's fine. We don't need to talk with people on the second floor. They can come in and out. That's fine. What we need is just people to keep eyes on things, to keep that information circulating. And then the other thing we need is for most of the bodies of people who are here supporting us to be on this floor. Is that clear? People do the work without leaving the space because people keep leaving to go do the thing. Without leaving the space, can we do that work to get the people who were here back here? Is that clear? There's a room being set up right now so that y'all can get food and get water. I need y'all to get that information spread as well because your rest and your sanity is really important to this, okay? Is that clear? Spread that word, please. Thing that happened. There aren't enough people in this hallway. So without leaving this space to go find people, y'all need to find ways to get those people back into this space. Blocking the doors and all that shit, that's all good and great, but people can come in and out of the lobby, that's fine. What we need is for there to be a physical presence on this floor so that they aren't leaving. Second point, there is a room being set up that has food and water and places for y'all to rest. Y'all need to make sure you're also taking care of yourselves in these moments.
Now is that he talked to the chief of police and he said police will not show up. But he said that they aren't willing to continue to have conversations, or rather the deal is the basis of the conversation is people have to stop blocking personnel from in and out of the building. People have to let people come and go.
People can come and go. The only people who can't leave are shit.
Okay, so they were told the other guys, and that's what I was asking.
So if they need, do they want me to come? Do they want me to come say that?
Yeah,
Cool.
I need a portable charger. I got two. I just don't have an iPhone.
For the concerns of this building, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I'm telling everyone, everyone is allowed to come in and out of this building, and I don't know who gave the order to do some weird blockade bullshit. That's some anarchist something. That's not on us, and I've gotten them to reassess that situation. The only priority is that y'all stay in this space until those demands can happen, so that's the only thing that we're concerned about. My concerns as a person, I can't speak for everyone, is that the work that needs to be done is happening today.
You're doing
our work is to undo white supremacy, and they are doing it. And
Does that sound familiar? Maybe we can do that akin to anything else. Maybe like a mugging or a bank robbery. You know, you got a mugging. Hey, I've got this gun. You're not allowed to leave here, wherever we are, alleyway or fucking street, until you give me your money. Or if it's a bank robbery, hey, I've got a gun. I'm going to shoot you if you don't open the vault. This is a genuine threat, but, you know, it's okay. It's a Facebook post by a student. They wouldn't lie. Fuck no. Like, what, you think they don't have a stake in this? No, they're just an innocent student. They have no reason to do this, except for, you know, the potluck and the lack of homework that they're gonna get from the professor bending his knee to them. But, you know, we'll get to that one at a time. One thing at a time. Blake goes on to say that Brett was filming the students, which, if he's in the video and not holding a camera, he's not, so another fucking lie, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. He's a racist. It doesn't matter if we're lying about it. And he was contesting their rights to film him, which is not shown in the video, so it's dubious at best. They peppered him with questioning, asking him if he knew the way it was harmful to students and faculty of color. And he replied that he did not think that he was wrong with his actions, which upset both students of color and white students. See, this is the thing that I'm getting at. So, this guy is saying that he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong and that he isn't racist, and this guy points out that these two distinct groups, he couldn't just say the students were upset. He had to point out that there were students of color and white students in response to this. And that's not racist to point that out, to distinctly separate these people. It's racist of him to want everyone to attend his class. He goes on to say that there were officers that were trying to harass the crowd and that they were trying to attack the people of color and those with disabilities. Again, we have nothing to go on for this. This guy is lying through his fucking teeth, and all he has for it is a Facebook post. The students, fearful for their lives, began retreating towards the library, and ultimately ended up in the Trans and Queer Center / Unity Lounge trying to stay safe. Yeah, trying to stay safe, and by that they mean holding the building hostage and refusing to let any of the faculty leave until their demands were met. And you know what? Eventually, after all of this, they did get a meeting with him. They got into the college president's office, George Bridges, and do you know what he said? He said that we are grateful to the courageous students who have voiced their concerns. And here's a clip of this meeting.
All of us are students and have homework and projects and things due. Have you sent an email out to our faculty letting them know? No. What's been done about that? Because we're all here on our own time.
Yeah. Eating cake, girl. That is the first thing I'll do. I have not done it yet.
So they need to be told that these assignments won't be done on time. And we don't need to be penalized for that.
I don't know the names of all the students here.
We'll just send it to all the faculty.
It doesn't matter.
Your vice president is black, so I know you can do it, Joe. Yeah, Joe.
I love your confidence in it. Hold on. Sorry. I speak with my hands.
The faculty need to know what's going on so that y'all can't keep doing this pointing fingers. And since I know
you act like we don't have technology, yo.
Are you listening? Okay, this is it. This is how you can help.
Please.
You please, George. You please. Come on.
I'm trying to talk.
Okay, we're trying to listen. Go ahead.
I'm trying to talk.
Okay.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead and say it.
I want to go to work on these with Wendy, the other people here, the faculty.
Oh, faculty, y'all staying?
I need some privacy, folks. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have claustrophobia.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're blocking America.
And we endure hate crimes on your campus and we pay to be here.
That students of color have to work in threatening environments every day.
Come on, baby.
Welcome. Get to work.
You can get that work. We need, I need this desk. Can he get this desk? I mean,
yeah, George, you go ahead. Everybody migrate to your desk. We'll be right here.
All right, George, I'm going to catch you on the flip side, Playboy.
Sorry, folks. I will work on these. You hold me accountable by Friday.
George, this is shit we gotta deal with every day. If you don't go to your desk,
You don't let us come so by Friday. If all those are met, you need to pay for a potluck.
I pay for a potluck anyway.
Yeah, okay, bet. Okay, we want gumbo. Bet.
We want gumbo made by my mama.
Electronic copy of this to put it up on the college's website.
You can scan it. Get the fuck out of here.
You got resources. I'm going to scan this, and we're going to put it up on the college's website, okay?
Oh, we gotta tell him management skills. They got scanners down in the library.
yeah. Let's get out of here. Shit.
Peace out, y'all.
Tired now. My legs hurt. My body hurt. I'm tired.
So I want to reiterate, these people burst into this building, enraged that a professor decided not to segregate his students based on race, demanded to speak to the president of the university in order to address these concerns, and they refused to let any of them leave until they had met their demands. And their demands consisted entirely of, fire this person, don't give us any homework, and throw us a potluck on your dime. Can you... maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, alright? But can you not see how insanely disrespectful these people are towards their professors and towards the people who run the college? Do you see this? You have at least 20 plus people in his office just doing whatever they want. They're eating pizza. They're telling him not to talk down to them and that they have to listen to his demands. And they refuse to even let him freely move about in his office, sitting in his desk, not letting him move anywhere unless he specifically states that he will meet their demands. This guy, he looks so fucking terrified. And he even mentions that he has claustrophobia. And all they do is they go, oh, look at you, poor little president of the college, poor little white man. How dare you have a problem when we burst in here and demand everything be free, and then we get a free ride. They even say this. He even says, I don't know who all of you are. I can't guarantee that all of you are not going to have penalties for not doing your homework. And instead, they say, tell everyone. No one should get homework. What do you think this is? It's not a fucking college, right? Fuck. He acquiesces to a lot of things. And I'll tell you what, he does have a little bit of a spine. He refused to fire or suspend the officers or the teachers involved in this specific incident, but he did say that he will put forth an investigation to see if any discrimination was actually occurring. And in response, they threaten violence and further protests. Because, of course, they do. But that's not all. That's one thing. So, in addition to saying, we don't want homework and you need to throw us a potluck and fire this teacher and fire this officer, they also want the immediate disarming of police services and no expansion of police facilities or services at any point in the future. So, no more police on campus or anything along the lines of police are bad. And that's not just a vague thing. They genuinely state, fuck the police. And then they demand that there's mandatory sensitivity and cultural competency training for faculty and staff, which is already in place, and the college even states that they will continue to require that training. So the students don't even acknowledge that there was one of those in the first place. But fuck it. It's so fucking insane. You have people who are going out of their way to ensure that there is no racial discrimination on campus, and standing their ground on this, and instead what happens is the students become enraged that they dare disagree, and they throw a hissy fit. Here's a short compilation of them going around campus saying that their teachers don't understand them based on their race. They're saying, you're white, you don't understand a thing. Because again, these people are saying, you are racist because your skin color means you can't speak on my behalf. And these people state, I don't think skin color is a factor. The people who are against racism are being called racist by mobs of students and large amounts of people. Take a look at these things that people have to say.
Teachers have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. These racist teachers have got to go, hey, hey. Teachers have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. These racist teachers have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. These racist teachers have got to go. Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power!
Or do it.
Put your hand down. That's my problem, George. You keep doing these.
What about our protection right now? Fuck you and fuck the police! I would suggest that you take under heavily consideration those that oppose the training and
Let me remind y'all, that's how whiteness works. Whiteness is the most violent fucking system to ever breathe.
I want to cry. I can't tell you how fast my heart is beating right now. I'm shaking in my boots.
I got to go, hey, hey! Oh, oh! These racist teachers, I got to go, hey, hey! Oh, oh!
Somebody's talking, you are not listening. In your head, if you're thinking of a response while somebody is talking, that is not listening. You need to listen.
And to be honest with you, I don't even expect you to even say anything to me because I know actions speak louder than words. My mama didn't raise no fool.
You're not oppressed. Okay, sis.
I was there tonight and I read that email and everything that was pretty much described in that email was 100% wrong. And it was, you better just say that you sorry and yeah, you lied.
Because it was some straight up bullshit.
Asking you one more time, I'm giving you a chance. Was the information in that email factual? Yes or no?
To my knowledge.
No! Yes or no? Thank you. No, it was not factual.
Get out! You're not helpful. Get out!
Can you listen to your shirt?
Get out!
Shake and chill. You need to go.
Has demonstrated anti-blackness in the pigeonholing, charging, and sentencing of 2 black trans disabled students based on false racially charged allegations. Sorry.
Excuse me.
Get the camera on her.
Can we?
No, fuck you, George. We don't want to hear a goddamn thing you have to say. You
Then
talk
I
so
should-
fucking
then
much.
you're
No, you
asking
shut
me-
the fuck
you're
up.
asking me-
No,
I think what's smart is not to I think what's smart is not to tone police people.
For a man who was being harassed or threatened. Why the fuck is he here? Please explain.
And what gets me is there was Shamir could just blatantly ask you what you could do to protect students, and you were ready. No, you sat here and you disregarded that all of us came here and took a risk to come here and be in this room with the way everybody's acting on campus, but you were ready to adjourn it for one white professor.
They state this is a peaceful protest that has received excessive police backlash, and that they have called backup and we're not sure what's going on. And what they mean by that is that they refuse to let the police come in to protect the man who they had surrounded and started hounding, and then the police backed off at the request of the president of the college.
Is that he talked to the chief of police and he said police will not show up.
And then they went into his office and he met all their demands. That's what they mean by excessive police backlash. Or this, where they say that anyone who disagrees with them are literal Nazis. Or this other person who says that you should stop telling people of color how to feel about it, because pointing out your race, saying you're not allowed to speak to me on my feelings or have an opinion about this event unless you are a specific skin color, no, you're the racist one. Or this other tweet where they make specific allegations towards a police officer with no proof. It's not to say that it didn't happen. I wasn't there. I didn't see jack shit. But what I do know is that these people have no proof of any of these people acting indecently. You have a teacher saying that he won't discriminate against students, and they say he's racist. And then they have an officer who they have no footage of them doing anything, and then they say that he's assaulting. And it's come to the point where this professor, Brett Weinstein, he can't go on campus. Everyone who is against him is making threats against his life, to the point where the police state that he is unsafe on campus. And he had to hold his class in a park downtown. As in, this guy is being pushed out of his own classroom by his students because he's anti-segregation. Do you know how fucking insane it is to hear this shit? When back in the 50s and the 60s, people were fighting for the chance to have non-segregated colleges, where they had to have police barricades to stop people who were trying to attack or harass black students who wanted to get onto campus because they wanted a chance to end segregation. And now, students are completely going in the opposite direction now, where they're stating that their version of equality is not actual equality, but reverse of what happened before. Because equality isn't everyone is allowed here regardless of the skin color, it's, well, black people weren't allowed here before, so now white people can't be allowed here in certain doses. And anyone who disagrees is a white supremacist. And you want to know how bad it's gotten? It's gotten so bad that traditionally left-wing news outlets are openly stating their distaste for this event, when they're stating that this is a sort of civil war within the left. The New York Times and the Huffington Post are stating that these people are absolutely abhorrent, even though they're on the same side, or the same team, so to speak. And mind you, this isn't like some right-wing rag, alright? This isn't the Daily Stormer. This is fucking Huffington Post saying that these students are illiberal fascist leftists. Alright, now it's not the same writer, but this is the same place that said Muhammad was a fucking feminist. You can't tell me that this isn't some crazy bullshit when they can put a headline like that within the same publication, go on to state that these people are leftist fascists. And they do go on to explain this. They even state that they want to distance themselves from it, and that this person is being attacked by extremists. Everyone else is saying, no, they're students and they're activists, and how dare you criticize people of color. It's insane. They're stating you are a racist fascist. Yes, I am the one who is treating you differently based on your race and using intimidation and threats of violence to get you to do what I want, making me a racist fascist. But you're that thing. And as long as I state that I'm not that thing, I am not that thing. And I'll tell you what, Blake, I don't have any hatred for you just because you're a lying sack of garbage. Because I have a special announcement. It's been discovered that if you just open your mouth and you just take a look in the mirror, you realize you're full of a wonderful new thing called shit. And it's okay. It's hip, it's trendy, it's new, and it's friendly to the environment too, all right? You know, that's really, really popular with the kids these days. And you know what? You're not alone. They used this wonderful new product to pen the entire script of the latest Ghostbusters movie. So you know you're gonna fit in. You're gonna be real fucking trendy. We're just gonna call it a day here. I don't know what to fucking say. You have people who are making insane demands based on these notions of racism and all these things, where they state highly racist things. They're stating that whiteness is a disease, that it is a mindset that is poisonous.
That's how whiteness works. Whiteness is the most violent fucking system to ever breathe.
And people aren't fucking batting an eye. The only people who are completely removed from this, because George, he's not doing anything. Alright, I can't tell if you've noticed, but this guy is a fucking pile of sentient jelly, just being pushed around by anybody who even talks in his general direction. And he's being bullied by real racists. Because if you look at what we just covered, associated social actions, which are aspects of a racist ideology, include otherness,
way everybody's acting on campus, but you're ready to adjourn it for one white professor, right?
Segregation.
Listen. Stop telling people of color they're fucking useless. You're useless. Get the fuck out of here.
Supremacism.
Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power!
And related social phenomena.
We endure hate crimes on your campus and we pay to be here.
That students of color have to work in threatening environments every day. Come on, baby. Welcome. Get to work. You can get to work.
Fuck your feelings, do your homework, and stop fucking calling people racist when they want to include everyone. Fucking Christ! God, it really is fucking opposite day.